Hi there, fellow Belgian public servants, fonctionnaires, ambtenaren, or other people who work daily in order to make our public services better.
Welcome to the Public Service Adventure podcast, where we travel through the land of complicated processes, obscure acronyms, and invisible accountability.
I'm Evert.
And I'm Alix.
And with a good dose of humility and optimism, the Public Service Adventure podcast is our weapon, our magical artifact to elevate the quality of public services in Belgium.
Let's go.
Our guest today is Quentin.
Hi, Quentin.
Hello.
Quentin is an IT consultant / organizational coach, and with him we are exploring the inner workings of a federal administration. Let's see if you can guess which one.
This administration touches over 1.5 million citizens. It has about 2,500 employees, but in the last 10 years it had to downscale its staff by almost 40%. This institution had to show a lot of flexibility during COVID, as the size of their activities surged to 11 billion euros in 2020, to come back down to about 6.5 billion in 2022.
Have you guessed it? It's the National Employment Office.
L'Office National de l'Emploi, l'ONEM.
Of de Rijksdienst voor Arbeidsvoorziening, RVA. RVA-ONEM. It is a federal institution responsible for unemployment benefits and career break allocations in Belgium.
It was really inspiring to meet Quentin, and we ended up talking almost 2 hours. This 20 minutes podcast focuses on working at a public administration, so we won't delve too much into the background of Quentin.
But let us know if you like episodes that are kind of portraits of adventures in the public service. Anyway, here is a little bit of who Quentin is.
I studied physics, so I'm kind of technical person. And during my PhD, I did some IT stuff, like developing programs. When I stopped my PhD after a burnout, I was like, okay, what can I do? So I work in the IT sector, mainly banking, a bit of energy. And that's where I found out other way of working, because of course, usually at that time, it was in 2010, 2012. That time, it was still very hierarchical, meaning, okay, you have a manager giving order, you have a project manager saying, you do like that. At certain points, at that time, you are an analyst or developer, whatever, and you are going to become a project manager. I didn't want to do that. Mm. And there was another way for me, which was facilitation and coaching, meaning helping people to work together without telling them what to do and how to do that. And then I created my own path to really becoming an organizational coach.
We asked him what it was like to work in the public sector after pursuing a PhD in physics and working in the banking and energy industry. You might expect some frustration about inefficiencies and bureaucracy, but instead, he told us that it made him proud, and he had this anecdote to share with us.
The law is quite complex because, Belgium. Welcome in Belgium. And sometimes when we try to translate the law into code to automatize, like, hey, can you get benefits for chômage or not? You are put in a box background.
So for instance, I am divorced, I have 2 children, and I just lost my job.
And because of this criteria, you'll get that amount of money. Mm-hmm. Or you need to do that before to get your money.
If my previous job, I wasn't working there for 10 years, but I had only been working there for 3 months, then I'm in another box.
Exactly. And sometimes you have people falling in no box. What do we do with these people? The legal department said, for that kind of case, what you have to do, you take the box which are the most advantageous for the person. Exactly. Okay. So that's the first thing. So there's a human part there. Okay, we are following the law, but when the law doesn't say anything, okay, we try to be the best.
You could really imagine in the same situation, people in the legal department who are, in any case, legal experts, but who have political leniencies that would tell them, well, no, we don't want to pay as much as possible. We want to pay as little as possible because these are taxpayers' money and so on. So the person making that call, actually, it is intrinsically, it is a political decision.
It's a political decision, but aligned not with the politician, aligned with the value of the public sector. Yeah.
But now, for the main part of the podcast, let's hear Quentin share one adventure he had in the public service.
I would like to talk about it's something quite recent. So we are in a department of 120 people doing IT with different roles. So we have developers, analysts, testers. So in that department, we had a manager. And the problem is that the contract of that manager came to an end. And we didn't find any person to replace that manager. So we have a department without manager. So we can panic. What are we going to do?
Did you really panic? Did anybody think we're not going to be able to work without a boss telling you?
To be honest,
yeah, I think so.
I think so. To be honest, maybe it was a question like, okay, what are we going to do? Because clearly in that situation, so the person is going to leave at the end of the year, and we have nobody to replace that person. What are we going to do there? And the idea, after some reflection, was, okay, let's have a seminar with the team coordinators plus few people with some influence, let's say, in the organization, and the director. Let's gather all these people in Ostend. That's why we call that the shrimp seminar, to discuss during 2 days about how we are going to organize ourselves. And it has been facilitated by two very nice people, can I tell the name, from Visuality, Mara and Sven. You should contact them. You should contact them.
I love them.
They're not paying us, but they are great, apparently.
Season two.
And we start from the start, meaning the director giving the vision for the department, saying, okay, for me, that department, this is the vision. And we discussed it. It's not because the director came with the vision that we are like, yes, sir, yes, you are God. And no. It was, okay, but what do you understand by that? Can we change that? And during the 2 days, we still change it because we are, maybe it's not exactly that. So we work on that. We work on the principles. One of the two principles was our strengths are the people. The second principle is we work with the agile mindset, very linked to the people, because agile is about collaboration, it's about short feedback loop in a technical way. So knowing that what I do is correct, but also going to the people to ask them feedback. Mm-hmm. It's also about focusing on the real need. We don't do IT for IT.
I think that's really key because especially in the public service, a lot of people feel that we do IT for the sake of IT sometimes. So I think having this as an explicit principle within the IT team that this is not the case will guide some of the decisions you make.
Having these two principles is also a way to gather everybody around. So agile or the principle of people are important are not just a test or an ID. No. It's in our DNA.
And so what made the now famous shrimp seminar a success?
I think for that you need several ingredients. First, you need some support, the sponsor, meaning you need someone who is going to give that idea and having the power to do that. Here it was our CIO. He had that idea, he wanted to do that, and then he put some energy in that. Then it's about finding the right facilitators as well. Doing a preparation work with the sponsor, saying, we don't know where we are going. Keep things open. The only thing that we ask you is to have an idea of the mission of the department. Because you are the captain on the boat, you need to give the mission.
What I hear is one of the big challenges for your sponsor was to let go. Like here, you got a mission, but now you have to let go and see what happens.
It's important that the sponsor let it go, trust people. Certainly when you want to go in a self-organized organization, then it's about being clear. People, okay, you are going to be there. It's a seminar, meaning you sleep there. That's super important. Because if it's something, we could do that in Brussels, and we take a meeting room and we are going to talk. No, we have a breakfast and then we remove phones, computers, creating...
Literally, you ask people to put their phone somewhere else? And did you have people saying no?
No, because... And I think it's also something important why it was a success here. Because during 2-3 years, there were seeds, ideas, and then it was the right moment.
So you had the right sponsor with the right mindset. What's next?
So we arrived there and they set the stage. So giving the rules, how we are going to work together for 2 days. What are the roles of the facilitators? What they expect from us? And then creating kind of safer space. And I was super impressed because at a certain point, there was a kind of check. I'm not going into the details, but you can check a bit the psychological safety of the group. And it was really the case. People were really open, sharing things. I was like, wow, okay, that's huge, but it's super interesting, super important because we know that we are going to face difficult moments. We need a safe space for that. I like to say safer space.
And were there people who in the past had big disagreements or interpersonal issues, or were they, all good friends and so it was quite easy to...
I wouldn't say all good friends. There were people already working together for a while, but I was there, for example, and clearly I've been in confrontation with some few team coordinators at certain points, and some few other people the same. So that's not only people agreeing about everything. And that's why it's important when I'm talking about seeds. I think we all took these seeds to create a common field to work with and putting formal discussion on the side. Something important also, it was the structure of the workshop in 2 days. The mission was defined by the director because it's a captain giving the direction. We talked about that. We didn't agree completely. And that mission has been modified again several times during the 2 days. Yeah. We discussed every word. Every word was important. So mission was that. Principles, how we are going to do things. And then the vision. What is our vision for the department? In 5 years, where are we? All the teams will be self-managed and really engaged in what they want to do. And putting in the center of their work the satisfaction of people. And a second part of the vision is we work with a continuous improvement and collaboration with everyone inside the department and outside of the department. And then we arrive to the very concrete stuff, like how are we going to organize the work that needs to be done? Not only the work that people are expecting from us, but all the work to organize our own work. And then here there was an exercise putting every idea, everything, and then sorting out, making clusters, groups of activities, and every group became a domain of activities, accountability, of responsibility. And we have found 11 domains. It's maybe a lot. What the facilitator said, at the beginning we have always too many domains. It's okay, it's normal. Maybe later you are going to merge some domains. You'll see. But it's a starting point. And how we make it future-proof. One of the domains called governance and guidance, it's in the responsibilities of the domain to keep that alive, to update that, to keep people around that. It was maybe the most exhausting thing that we did at the beginning of the year. It was really communication. We need to communicate to 120 people.
You presented the takeaways of the shrimp seminar?
Yeah. We start presenting that a bit early, too early, like 1 week or 2 weeks after the
short
shrimp.
Feedback cycles?
Yeah, exactly. But we said, okay, it's still a draft. We still need to change some wording. People don't understand the different domains. That's a feedback. We know that. So it's not clear enough for them. So we did that, and then we create really a kind of documentation, slide deck in French and Dutch, with a description of different domains, with the domain lead, what are the responsibilities, etc., etc. And then we organize Q&A sessions. 3 Q&A sessions, people are free to come and asking questions. And we receive feedbacks about, but that's not true. You have that domain, but in responsibility, it's not happening. Okay, but then we can explain, you're right, it's not true, but it's the purpose of the domain to arrive there. So it's also explaining, we don't try to describe the reality, we try to give...
to create the reality of tomorrow.
Wow, I love that.
It's beautiful. So you had this seminar, then you communicated about it and got feedback. And now what? How do you keep this alive?
We have a governance meeting every week for the moment. At the beginning, it was 2 hours per week. Having the different domain lead around the table. Okay, we have that topic to tackle. We call that tensions. department. Who is the owner of that pension? Which domain? Or we have cross-domain discussion that we need to have, and we have that every week. And now it's more 1 hour a week, and I guess that at a certain point it will be every 2 weeks, and we want to organize every quarter a retrospective on that with people of the department as well, getting feedback. And we are working also to make some transparency, visibility about every domain as strategy, priorities, and then what are the next steps.
Can I be the devil's advocate? If the listeners at home is hearing that and thinking, wow, like you have too much time on your hand, like I don't have time.
We don't have time. You have the choice between you continue to do your work in an efficient way, you are going to lose a lot of money, meaning a lot of taxes. People are paying for that. That small sacrifice that you are going to do 2 days is going to save you months of nightmare. For me, it's really that ratio. And also, we didn't try to make a revolution. We create something that can adapt to any needs. So the real work is now. We didn't want to solve issues. We wanted to have a framework to solve issues in a continuous way.
Wow.
Yeah. No, but really, it's powerful.
What I hear, and which is quite amazing, super ingredients like this governance part. You have to have a dedicated structure thinking about how can I keep this alive, how can I create transparency, communication, like you said. There's a lot of communication being done, and it has merited its own domain. So to make clear, without that, you're just going to lose your organization. And a quite amazing thing that I really heard is you have created a big alignment, mindset-wise. You have there a little group of people who's completely aligned, like, okay, this is where you want to go. And they have also the influence on their organization to help others go in the direction, to point them in the direction. So it's some very powerful ingredients.
Do we conclude?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Only after 2 hours and...
Yes.
I told you.
Thank you so much. That's our music.
That concludes this episode of the Public Service Adventure podcasts. We hope it gave you some insights on the inner workings of another public administration, inspiration to try something out tomorrow, and at the very least that you had a pleasant 20 minutes with us.
If you believe our public services can and should be better, please share this podcast around.
And we would love to get your feedback. You can find us on LinkedIn and on our website, publicserviceadventure.be. Bye-bye.
It's not the music.